I'll briefly explain this because this is all things that these days they have a little bit more modern application. This is cork. We have lots of cork trees. I think more than 50% of the cork in the world is produced in Portugal. Comes from Portugal. We do a lot of things. In the beginning, we mainly did stoppers for wine. When you open a bottle of wine, it's cork. Of course, you have to be very careful, and that's why this is a kind of an old thing. Because when they take the cork from the tree, you have that gentleman there. They have to cut. One tree you can only take cork every 8 or 9 years. Yes, because and when you plant, it takes like 20 years or so before you can start taking the cork from the trees. And then it's every 8 years or 9 years until it grows. And you have to be very careful. So you have to have people that know what they're doing, because when they cut, they cannot injure the trunk. Because if they injure the trunk of the tree, it's lost. So they really have to be careful. And so it's kind of a process, and it's handmade. So it's a hand job. Of course, then it's processed, and these days they no longer just do corks. Here, this is a seat made of cork. Here, the wall here, for decoration purposes, it's cork. Shoes, and this is the jacket. The same thing goes with those azulejos. Azulejo, it's a very typical thing in Spain and Portugal because they were hot, and we are hot weather, and so the azulejo, it's good to keep temperature fresh inside. So that's one of the reasons. Of course, you have lots of applications. Here it's in churches. There you have a train station where you have decoration panels. But then these days, this is the metro in Lisbon. And of course, you also have artistic pieces like this one. By the way, this is a painting or in ceramic tile of Fernando Pessoa. That's the poet. That's it. On another note, this is a little bit more business, which is more what I do in Japan. But this is to give you an idea. You have a lot of old tradition and a lot of old culture and old products that are making a change into a little bit more modern applications. But you also have something interesting. Lisbon has become the capital for this event, which is called Web Summit. Web Summit, it's an Irish event. It started in Dublin, and then it became so big that Dublin could not host the event. They moved to Portugal, and now next month, in 2 weeks, it's going to be the third time, and they renewed for another 5 years the contract to do it in Lisbon. And just to give you an idea, it takes 3-4 days, and you have 60,000 people visiting Lisbon just because of this event. And you have CEOs of Nissan, you have CEOs of coming from all over the world, from big companies. Then you have startups, little companies that want to present their thing. It's really a huge event. Because of that, you have a lot of young kids that are starting to move to Portugal to install their little companies, because real estate is cheaper, human resources are still available, the labor cost is cheaper, we have good engineers, so you have a lot of dynamism these days because of this. And so that you have an idea, we are a very small country, 10 million. We have 3 unicorns. Unicorns, it's when with a company raises more than $1 billion. We have 3. And basically it's because of the environment which was created, it's kind of favorable, and that's it. And of course there's also an explanation. As you know, between 2011 and 2015 there was a crisis in Europe and Portugal was kind of in trouble. And because of that there was a lot of unemployment and people didn't have a job, and so that created a mind frame. They had to do something, and they started it. And so all of a sudden you have lots of companies, and of course they are creating spaces to host these companies, and they are kind of giving support, which helps.